Hi, this is John Rowell for the Rowell Report. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. Welcome to this channel. And if you like this video at any point, please hit the like button. So getting into this content, which is provided to us by the Kiev Independent, which is a tightly controlled media news source in Ukraine. We have this report about the 2 million Ukrainians who are avoiding mobilization and another 200,000 soldiers who have gone AWOL. This is according to the new defense minister, and here we have the new defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov. So anyway, it looks like this individual just graduated from a renowned military academy. He was the, probably got the highest grades in his, and probably graduated at the top of his class. So here he comes in with all these bright ideas about what to do to make things right within the Ukrainian military and get them changing from possibly a defeatist attitude to a winning attitude, and to sweep away the old ways and bring in the new ways. So anyway, this is what he seems to be focused on. So he has some kind of a symbol on his sweater. I'm not too sure exactly what that symbol is, but he's gone also with the Zelensky no suit, no tie, and not even a collared shirt format like President Zelensky. And he's looking to he has his short military cut. He has his watch. How many people wear watches these days? Really, maybe you do. I don't know. I used to have a really good watch, and it, as long as you kept it wound, it would keep time very well. Unfortunately, it was a Mickey Mouse watch, so it looked kind of ridiculous, but it was really one of the best watches that I ever had, and it kept time very well. And now today, of course, these watches are used for even like video calls, for reminders and all that. So he's giving the impression that he's this executive. And if you see a lot of the executives from like Palantir, or from some of these tech companies, they also went to the format of no suit, no tie, no collared shirts, and short haircuts. So some people have longer hair. Anyway, it's not a big deal. The point is that this person, who has probably recently graduated from some military academy at the top of his class, now is arriving to Ukraine with the brightest and best ideas that have ever been produced in some military academy, and he's going to make sure that they are brought to life within Ukraine, and this will change the Ukrainian military mindset, and will change the fortunes of the Ukraine military from a losing strategy to a winning strategy, and he's confident that he can do that. So we're going to find out why that is. And first, he brings out the bad news about the 2 million Ukrainians who have avoided mobilization, and another 200,000 soldiers who are AWOL. So anyway, this for me is the first mistake, is that he's crying over spilled milk. I would say that most of those Ukrainians who have avoided mobilization have left the country and are probably never coming back, and possibly the same with the soldiers who have gone AWOL, although he mentions that it's possible that some soldiers went from one military group to another, and did not get permission from their commander to do that, possibly because the commander was this blood and guts style military commander who sat back in 20 miles from the front line in a fortified office, or improvised office, giving out commands and never has to face the reality of military conflicts, while the soldiers under his command are getting, slaughtered and wiped out by artillery and drones. So possibly there could be some soldiers who have moved from one group to another just as a way to survive and go to a place where they are going to be better off, possibly. But I would say that most of those soldiers who have gone AWOL and those Ukrainians who have left are possibly outside the borders of Ukraine and will never be returning. So point number one is why cry over spilled milk? So this for me is a big mistake, is he's going to focus on what he has and what they need to do. That's what he has to work with. And these 2 million Ukrainians who have left, possibly they have fared worse as a refugee in another country, but possibly they have fared better. So let's say they have left Ukraine, they have a better apartment, a better car, a better job. They can get access to better groceries. They can have all the medical assistance that they want. They have somebody teaching them a new language. So there isn't any reason why they would just pick up and return to Ukraine. So why even talk about that? Of course, there could be some kids sitting in grandma's basement playing video games, Nintendo or PlayStation or Xbox or something, and so they're not moving, not leaving, not showing up in public. And those people, if they have survived until now in the basement of grandma or in some remote dacha, I don't think that they're going to be showing up anytime either. So again, the point is, why even mention it? And especially you put out statistics for some people that may not be familiar with those statistics. And for the soldiers who have gone AWOL, I mean, that is a huge morale killer for the soldiers who are, fighting and losing limbs and seeing their comrades die or moan in agony in a trench, and hear that, that somewhere between 200,000 and some also say 500,000 soldiers have completely abandoned ship and got out of Ukraine, and they're there, just waiting for the end to come. And that's a super morale killer. So, why even mention that? And so he was speaking in Parliament, where he was appointed to his new role. So Parliament wanted to bring some, they wanted to renew and refresh the military with someone who hasn't been supposedly contaminated with the corrupt ways. So they get some top graduate from a military academy. He's going to come in and redo everything, refresh everything. And actually, I don't know how long he's been there and if he's had military training or not. But anyway, he certainly looks young and certainly starts off immediately focusing on a statistic that doesn't even help, because the problem with Ukraine of losing is that they have to look with what they have, and they have to come up with a military strategy with what they have. So anyway, he talks about moving forward and analyzing the commander's effectiveness rather than, and rather than decisions being made on, based on the ranks. So anyway, you've had NATO advisors in Ukraine, you've had European advisors, and they have been constantly working with the military. So do you think that they would have removed ineffective commanders a long time ago? We're now into the 4th year. So this also, for me, point number two is that this is a mute point. Most of the ineffective commanders have already been removed, and but Junior comes in with bright ideas, and he's going to redo everything in the military, and everything is going to be right, and Ukraine will stop retreating and will go on the offensive, and Ukraine will resolve all of its frontline issues, whether it's artillery or manpower, and suddenly all problems will be fixed. No, that's not going to resolve anything. So they got Junior working on problems that aren't even going to resolve why Ukraine is losing this conflict. So he talks about the old organizational structure. Okay, so what is that? So he goes on to talk about our goal is to change the system, carry out army reforms, improve the infrastructure on the front, to eradicate lies and corruption, to instill leadership and a new culture of trust. Well, first they need to build a new culture of trust within the military itself, because many of the soldiers report not being rotated, and not having food, not having water, having injured comrades sitting in the in the trench or a basement or a fortified building, waiting for the ambulance to come to take that soldier to get military treatment. No one shows up, and having other comrades who are dead, and their bodies are just there. And they're not removed either. And you talk about the infrastructure on the front. What infrastructure? Their manpower shortage is acute, and it's not infrastructure, it's manpower. So again, where did Junior come, and what military academy did he study in? Okay, eradicate lies and corruption. Well, if a country is very well known for its lies and corruption, and it's been that way for a while, and it's a very widespread problem, just showing up and saying that they're going to eradicate that problem isn't going to change anything. So then he mentions about the critical manpower shortage, about finding those soldiers who have gone AWOL, or the people who are avoiding mobilization. Well, they have plenty of manpower sitting in Kiev. They're called the children of the oligarchs and the leadership, the political leadership in Ukraine. There are plenty of young people. When you see videos from Kiev, you see all the young people on the street living their life as if there's no war going on, going to Starbucks or going to McDonald's, going to the park. And I don't see any white vans mobilizing young people in Kiev. They could start there possibly. But anyway, the manpower shortage and the Ukrainians who avoided mobilization, where are they? Well, they're sitting in Paris, they're sitting in Krakow, they're sitting in Berlin, they're sitting in Munich, they're in they're in Switzerland, yodeling with the mountain toppers. They are in Italy, eating panettone and drinking good Italian coffee, or they're in Spain, in Madrid, with tapas and going out to the disco. So, just stating, we got to fix this problem of Ukrainians avoiding mobilization. Well, I'm sorry, but many of them have left the country and they're not going to come back anytime soon. So, crying over this spilled milk, this does nothing. It certainly doesn't boost the morale of the soldiers who think, oh my goodness, I'm it. And so they're going to leave me there until I'm blown to bits, because they're going to fight to the last man. So Um, anyway, then the article mentions about the prison sentence for soldiers who go AWOL, desert their company, and so let's say you are a Ukrainian soldier who has gone AWOL, and you are in sitting on the beach in Alicante, Spain, and and feeling the Mediterranean breeze, and someone calls you up from Kiev and says, "Hey, you better come back to Ukraine, or you're gonna go to jail." And it's like, I don't think I'll be going to jail. I'm here in Spain, living the good life, and I don't have to return back. No one's gonna force me to, and so that is again, why are they focusing on these punishments? Look, if you're desperate to getting soldiers, then remove all these punishments. Say, you will get not only we will not punish you, but we will give you a bonus or something. Provide some incentive. But anyway, again, this next paragraph talks about the criminal code of Ukraine. Oh boy. You are in Lisbon, Portugal, and and watching the ships come and go from the harbor, and somebody is like, screaming at you, "The criminal code of Ukraine, the criminal code of Ukraine, you will be punished if you ever go back." And the person's like, well, I guess I'll never be going back. So anyway, this is a non-starter. This doesn't get them anywhere. This is useless. And then the Fedorov talks about the larger number of problems that need to be addressed immediately, including the Army's paper bureaucracy. Okay, the paper bureaucracy. Ukraine has been under, practically under NATO guidance for who knows how long, at least since 2014, but probably before. And so they set up a system, a paper system. Okay, well, you're going to exchange one paper bureaucracy for another, or maybe he's talking about going from a paper bureaucracy to a digital online bureaucracy. Well, anyway, that doesn't boost, again, the ranks of the military, and certainly doesn't boost the morale of the soldiers. I mean, the people understand that there is a paper bureaucracy, but I mean, they're not, filling out, the soldiers aren't filling out, reports day and night. When you see reports of soldiers from Ukraine, they're out there, going from one area to another, being transported, or they're firing some, artillery, or they're operating drones. You don't see them, all kinds of paper bureaucracy. So this is amazing that that this could actually be the hindrance to the success of the Ukrainian military, and the reason why they're failing on the front lines. Well, I can tell you why they're failing on the front lines, because they have a disadvantage in artillery, now in the drones, in manpower, in resources. They're running out of all sorts of resources, and so their front lines are collapsing as Russia has stretched their front lines, and they're not able to maintain a good coverage over the entire front line. So, and the paper bureaucracy is removing it isn't going to change anything. So, like I say, Junior came in out of the academy and now wants to fix the paper bureaucracy, and that's going to resolve all the ills in Ukraine with their military. I don't think so. And it talks about the Soviet-minded top-down way of commanding troops. Okay, so what is the alternative in the military from the top-down way of commanding troops? Well, you take one top-down way of commanding troops, you chuck it, and you bring in another top-down way of commanding troops. So, again, the problem isn't the top-down way of commanding troops, which is, I wouldn't say Soviet, because they have been receiving assistance, military assistance, and military advisors from NATO countries. Their soldiers being sent to the UK, to Scotland, to the United States to receive training, possibly to Spain or France. So, I think the Soviet ways of doing things have long since gone away. So anyway, it's incredible that these are the supposed ills within the Ukraine military, and fixing those ills will suddenly create this positive-minded, more effective military that's going to begin to get victories on the front line. And I can tell you that, removing papers and getting people to, hold balloons and jump up and down and scream happy, happy, happy aren't going to change anything in the current military campaign. The only thing that would change things would be a huge infusion of military equipment, of course, resolve the manpower shortage, and come up with an actual military strategy that works, that would come from the top down to the soldiers and be coordinated between the different soldiers. So anyway, but this article isn't done providing us with gems to comment on. This prevents soldiers on the front line from working at their maximum. So again, what is preventing the soldiers from working at their maximum? They're not rotated, they don't rest, they don't have food, they don't have drink. Their commanders are ignoring their pleas to be rotated or to remove injured soldiers or dead soldiers. So anyway, totally ridiculous. But they brought in Junior for a reason. This is a new face, and he's going to try this probably for a year or two during these last period of the war. And so I guess part of this idea was to bring in a young face, and then the young people would be encouraged to join the military and become like this guy. Well, I don't know. If you heard all this, I don't think that you would be too enthused about joining the military at this time, especially since it's very clear they're losing and are losing badly. And to go now would be to get no training and to be thrown on the front line as cannon fodder. So anyway, so here we have again Junior from the military academy, Mikhailo Fedorov, and so he's going to change everything. And of course it's possible, I mean, within the realm of possibilities. President Lincoln did change McClellan, brought in Grant, and that certainly changed things during the Civil War. But maybe that's the idea, that they always had McClellan, now they have Grant. But I really doubt that with what he has left to work with, he's going to be able to make a difference. And all these pie-in-the-sky ideas, all these idealism that he got from the military academy and working in the UK and the United States and France and Spain and Italy and other parts, that this is going to change anything anytime soon. So anyway, that is my report for today on Mikhailo Fedorov, his comments, and the report in the Kiev Independent about the manpower shortage and the young people who have avoided mobilization and the AWOL soldiers. So anyway, if you have a comment to make, please do so below. And I look forward to seeing you back for future videos. Take care. Bye-bye.